You know, the problem with our education system, Gore Vidal was saying this, is that it was that we don't have an education system that teaches you how to think.
Right.
We don't.
That's so true.
And that's there is an art to learning, man. There's an art to learning. There's an art to how
It's
to
an art to
structure
being
your
a human being.
That's right.
It really is, and no one teaches us. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. We're all idiots raising other people with the same flaws that we were raised with.
There's no manual for it.
Exactly, and when you look at what we consider our source of education, as far as like what is distributed to us nightly, what's the news, right? I mean, that's really the education that people have today. Once you get out of school, unless you're reading books on your own, where are you getting your information about the world? You're getting it from the fucking news.
That's right.
Well, the news doesn't really represent what's A, going on in the world, and B, it doesn't say anything about how you should be dealing with this, how you should be thinking, how we should resolve these issues.
You wouldn't take a horse to try to ride it and not train it. The same applies to a human being. You gotta start with the notion of, he was trying to teach philosophy in the sense that you better know what questions to ask throughout your life, and we should start with young people, educate young people the right way with the right questions. If you don't do that, then you've got to start with a base almost, and we don't do that, man.
The way school is set up, they have X amount of 1,000 kids, and they have to get these kids through with a basic understanding of the building blocks of our world. They have to understand math. They have to understand how to structure a sentence. They have to understand how to form paragraphs, and they got to know what happened in the past. And then you're off on your own. Good luck, fucker. Next stop, college. Well, we're caught in this machine. There's a real machine going on with society today. And that machine is the building of society, the increasing of bandwidth, the interconnectivity that's provided by technology. It's all of that, and it's all of that with this exponentially increasing momentum behind it, and we're all caught up in that. And we're caught up in that, and we have mortgages, and we have bills, and we have all these. But what we're doing is we're feeding this system. We're feeding the system of televisions and computers and cell phones and new clothes, and
it's distracting. But it's like what you're saying is it's we don't have a system. We try to with public education, but we don't have a way or a system to really teach people how to live the art of living.
No one knows what the fuck they're doing. And the people that we were raised by, they didn't know what the fuck they're doing either. I mean, my parents are very nice people. My mother is with my stepdad. They've been together forever. It's like they're a very nice couple. They're very nice people. But they were raised by people who didn't know shit. And their parents were raised by people who didn't know shit. And this era that we're living in right now, it's like human beings are just starting to wake up and realize that we were all living in this weird sort of momentous world, this world that moves on momentum, and momentum doesn't make any sense at all. And we're all just waking up, realizing that it was set up by people who didn't know what the fuck they were doing. I mean, they knew how to build buildings, they knew how to use electricity, but no one knew how to teach society how to chill the fuck out, relax, and enjoy each other. Not one fucking person, besides like Martin Luther King and a few people with some dreamy speeches, not one person emphasizes that in the role of government. Not one person is pushing that, like, can't we figure out a way that human beings are just nicer to each other? Can't we figure out a way where there's maybe a little bit less profit, but also less pollution and less fucking with people and less control over the human populace?
A lot of it,
Isn't that possible?
I would say most of human history, almost all of it, has been not enough to eat and dying of disease.
Oh, yeah, no, it's no doubt there's been a lot of things that led us to this point.
Yeah, it's trauma.
But this is also the first point. We have a responsibility as the human beings that have the first access to this sort of information to not be looked at like a bunch of silly fucks by the people of the future. Because that's a real problem. Because if I look back, I mean, living this life right now, just looking at all the silly nonsense that human beings are involved with,